It's a wonderful, wonderful fight. My feelings are that I think it doesn't go very long. And I think the reason it doesn't go very long because Conor Benn will make sure it doesn't go very long. I'm not saying he's a definite to win, but Conor's style of fighting means that this is a fight that is unlikely to be around past the early rounds, in my view. The comparisons are quite similar today as far as Eubank has got I don't know what you would call it. He's got the arrogance of a Eubank, and it doesn't appeal to everybody. He has the feeling that he's mentally superior, which comes from his father's teachings. I'm not sure that's true, but it's a narrative. And then Conor's got the ferocity of his father. And in fact, there are times in a fight so far in his career, some of his fights, I have to sometimes rub my eyes and think, I'm not watching Nigel Benn, That red mist comes down. The chin might go up a little bit, but by God, he's going to try and take you out of there. So Conor is, I think, the more attractive fighter to watch for the average punter because you get what it says on the tin. Eubank is what some people might say is the thinking man's fighter, but he has fast hands, not as fast as they used to be. I think the other age is the age coming into play. Frankly, neither of them have done enough to warrant this enormous purses and the stage they have. And it's a mixture of the past and, nostalgia, the memories, and the level of these two guys for the narrative they can create. And that appeals to TV companies, and obviously the Saudis can't wait. It's a wonderful, wonderful fight. My feelings are that I think it doesn't go very long. And I think the reason it doesn't go very long because Conor Benn will make sure it doesn't go very long. I'm not saying he's a definite to win, but Conor's style of fighting means that this is a fight that is unlikely to be around past the early rounds, in my view. I'm wrong all the time. So what do you want to know? It's like you can't guess. These are two warriors, both of them. They're both very capable fighters. Eubank on the one hand, when he's gone up a level, he's felt short, and whether you're talking, Billy Joe Saunders, you're talking, who was the other, the George Groves, arguably two fighters that maybe were coming off their best days, but nevertheless they were too much for Eubank. Eubank's aggressive, and his self-belief is amazing, and you need to have that, as you know yourself. You can't go in a ring if you don't fancy the job, mate. It doesn't last very long. Conor's got blind faith, and he's had a tough time in 2 years. It's well publicised. What's not so well publicised is the fact that his case eventually got slung out of court because they had no evidence, and therefore it was they had no case to answer. People will never do that. They'll remember the first bit. They'll remember that he failed a drug test, and that'll piss him off for the rest of his life. But it's history. You can't do anything about history. What he has a chance of his redemption is to put on a performance that his father will be proud of, that boxing fans would say that's a proper fight. But he's in against a much bigger man. And that would be a worry to me. But I still go, on balance, to Conor Benn winning by stoppage.
Is it weird for you to be on the other side now? Because you're in the Eubank camp for all those years, and now you're on Conor's side.
I've known Conor. Conor started with us, turned pro with us. Obviously, the good relationship with Dad, and obviously I've got a good relationship with Eubank. He's nuts sometimes. He's crazy, But, I love him. I mean, we had 20 world fighters. You don't spend that amount of time with someone if you don't like them, I was best man at his wedding. I was honoured to be asked. So as much as I'll say to his face, you're a nutcase sometimes, you are. You're eccentric. But I tell you, he's genuine. He's always been genuine. He's always, there are times he'll drive you up the wall, but I can't ever take away the fact that he tells the truth as he sees it. It might not be something that you agree with. In the same way with Nigel. Nigel is much easier to work out. You love him or you don't love him, and he's the same with you. But when he loves you, you'll have him next to you in the trenches every day of the week. So I've got time for both of them. I love the fact that Nigel's come to a peace in his life, I think more so than Chris. And I hope that Chris finds that. Nigel's found it through God, and that's wonderful. But his kid's a nice kid. I mean, I think he's been harshly treated by the media, but that's yesterday, and we can't change that. What I think is he's a good kid, and I think he's got his dad in him, and I think he'll give it 110%, and that, I believe, will be enough. But I can't take away the option of, what's he going to weigh when he gets in? Conor's going to be coming in at, I'm guessing, make it a 147 fighter comes in at 160. It's a bit big, but then the rehydration up to another 10 pound or something, But I've seen lots of fighters that have been a lot physically bigger, but if their natural body doesn't want that, they sometimes slow down a bit, or they don't have the stamina or whatever. And you're going to hear lots of rumours over the next few days. He's injured, he's that. I just want to hear the Belford, same as all those years ago. All I want to hear is seconds out, round one, ding. That'll do me. I want to be there because I think we're going to see a classic.
Do you think Chris Sr will be there? Do you hope he is?
I hope he is. I have my doubts. He's a man of strange principles and strange ways. But if he makes his mind up on something, sometimes he's very difficult to shift. I know from experience. I hope he's there. It makes a great... If we had a war and then respect at the end of the war, and the two old men are there as well, I'd like to be in that picture.